Hello everyone, EggChin here. Today I'll be condensing and recapping the 80th Producer Live Letter. Let's not waste any time and get right into it. The live letter ran almost 2 hours and 45 minutes and it was all in Japanese, so in a way we'll both be speculating to an extent. I'm also only going to show, cover, and comment on the important stuff. Fox was in full Heidelin and Zodiac cosplay. It kind of freaked me out, so I try not to look at it too much. The letter opened with some back and forth, but quickly transitioned into the introduction of the new benchmark that was released. Here we get the first glimpse of some new and upgraded graphics. The scenery looks amazing, and you can even see some new moves for different jobs. I really recommend taking a look at the benchmark yourself if you want to dissect some of the new moves, but the machinist chainsaw move looks crazy good. I don't really play Dark Knight, but that Dark Knight armor looks so good. Even this new race looks good. I don't know if it's going to end up being a tribal quest, but the graphics look really good on this. When the elephant people came out in Walker, I wasn't too impressed, but these models look so much better. And a big final reveal here is Viper's Limit Break, which I think looks pretty cool. Yoshi and Fox again covered pre-order information, nothing new here. Next up is what I would call the main focus of this live letter, the 7.0 Graphical Update, A World of Difference. Right away you can clearly see the foliage looks so much better. The footage shown here with the stones actually does seem like a world of difference. The left depicting 6.58 looks so washed out and almost smeared in comparison, while the right, 7.0, has much more depth and detail. Even the aetheryte looks so much different. I think it's the changes to lighting that are making the biggest impact. The reflections on the crystal are really giving a more detailed look, and even the foliage on the ground isn't just a texture slapped onto the ground, but now we have a third dimension. The Lala model shown here draws big comparisons as well. You can clearly see that the stone has more detail and reflection, and somehow the game just looks more vibrant. Showing Ilmeg here, you can see the density of the foliage has been completely changed. It really appears you are swimming in the flowers compared to before. There are some graphical options they looked over. I don't know exactly what they were as it was in Japanese, but we can safely assume that there will be some graphical options added to the game in 7.0. In this clip here, they give a brief preview of what looks to be Solution 9, the new futuristic city, but perhaps this is just from the outside. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but here's a nice glimpse of Tuliolol, and it appears to be better at night with lighting. And again, the aether crystals look completely different to me. Much like Old Charlian, this will be a nice city to spend some time in. In these next slides, it appears they're talking about the resolution support through NVIDIA DLSS 2.0 and AMD FSR 2.0. Super Resolution states that it will restore the image quality of low-resolution images, thereby minimizing resolution degradation, and this will be implemented on all platforms. There apparently will also be an option to toggle resolution scaling so you can balance between performance and fidelity. Dynamic resolution is also an option which will automatically adjust the resolution based on a FPS threshold set by the user. PlayStation 4 and Xbox S will still have the graphics updated, but with less options. A good amount of time was spent discussing some new enhancements to the Blacklist functionality. Perhaps some people have asked for more options regarding this. I personally haven't had to blacklist anyone in the longest time. But regardless, they just go over different muting options and blacklist options. One interesting option is you can mute an entire service account, which in certain harassment cases I could see as being very useful. Another feature that could be of good use is now you can filter out words of your choice. Like if you don't want to see certain words, it'll just come out as censored garble. A no entry list can now be made for your state as well. No more squatting, guys, so get moving before Dawntrail. Lodestone privacy changes are also being implemented. It looks like the main options are visibility settings so you can control who can see you. The team was kind enough to share a calendar with us, and I'll break it down so you know what to expect. First up is going to be the Yokai Watch, which will be returning Wednesday, April 24th. This event is a pretty big one as there are mounts, tons of glams, and tons of minions to get. The only new piece added appears to be new Framers kit for this year. We still have our Final Fantasy XVI crossover event, which will run until May 9th. The Yokai event will run from April 24th until June 27th. That's a really long time, but the event has a lot to do. Next, the Moogle Treasure Trove, the second hunt for Genesis, will run from May 15th up until June 25th. The Make It Rain event will run from May 16th to May 31st. The Final Fantasy XIV Media Tour will also be running from May 16th to May 31st. And it looks like the 81st Producer Live Letter will be taking place on May 16th during the Media Tour. And finally, the Dragon Quest X collab event returns from June 5th to June 20th. The final Live Letter before Dawntrail number 82 will be on June 14th. And a final but most important note. It looks like there will be a 48-hour maintenance for Dawntrail's release from June 26th to June 28th, where the early access will begin immediately after for those of you who pre-ordered. And the official launch will be July 2nd for everyone else. This is a jam-packed schedule, and I think it's really to fill the content gap we have now until Dawntrail. There's tons to do and lots of good reasons to play if you haven't already done these events. This next section was kind of a trivia/fun fact section. It's not anything major, but it was actually one of my favorite parts, and I wanted to share it briefly with you guys. The number 3000 appears here, but somehow alludes to having over 30 million players. This is also revealed in the last live letter. 240. 240 is how many awards Final Fantasy XIV has received. 88. 88 is how many Aetherites are in the game, and I assume they just mean the big ones, the ones you can teleport to. 325 is how many duties are available in Duty Finder. 159 is how many hours of cutscenes are in the game now. 4,917 is how many minutes of music are in the game. 16,096 is how much material was melded if each material weighed 100 grams. 46,152 kilometers is the distance Quarks flew from Realm Reborn Red in the past year. You know, someone did some crazy ass number crunching for this stuff. 54,350,656 liters is how many liters of concoctions were consumed this past year, almost more than the annual consumption of ketchup in the United States. Some more surprising numbers, this chart shows when players began the game, and our largest player base apparently joined during Shadowbringers. Based on the surveys here are the players' top 10 favorite mounts. You know, I figured Fatter Cat would be on there, and also the Regalia, but I was pretty surprised to see that the company Chocobo was number 1, although it is very versatile and since it's the only mount you can technically dress up. I'm not a big Minions fan, but again, Fatter Cat takes a top 3 slot. And number 1 is Starbird. I'm not sure if I have that one now that I think about it. I like this one, Favorite Home Point. Old Charlian, as empty as it appears, still hit top 3. Gridania number 2, and of course, if you guessed Limza for number 1, you were right. For the most formidable foe, I'm not exactly sure what they mean, like the scariest or what, but this list is all messed up if they're talking about difficulty. Number 3 came in the Warrior of Light, number 2 Endsinger, and number 1 Hades. So the most formidable foes are all trials. Maybe not fights, but foes. This next frame just shows what Final Fantasy XIV means to us players. I found this kind of neat, but if this shit was real, someone would have put ERP, AFK Limza, etc., but I'm sure they had to filter out this one a bit. Next up is this new lacquerware if you're a collector of such. The Big Bahamut one looks cool, but I don't think I'll be buying any plates. Also available is an art book and Eorzea Popoto chips. I'm gonna give a quick opinion on this Heidelin and Zodiark statue. The statue itself seems nice, but what I really want is the emote. Holy shit, $360 for this? I know there are some people who will literally buy this just for the emote. I do wish they offered only the emote through the store or something, but man, 360 bucks? I'll have to pass on this one. There is also a planetarium show that will be shown in Japan, so if you are in the area, you can check out the details for that as well. Final Fantasy XVI is also receiving their DLC, and that's shown here. And the final slide here shows that they're hiring more staff for Final Fantasy XIV in Japan. That about wraps it up, guys. The big takeaways from here are the 7.0 graphics updates and the schedule that was given to us. I hope some of you guys found this useful, as I know not everyone wants to watch for almost 3 hours just to get a few upcoming details. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.